Before today's episode, I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and recognise their continued connection to the beautiful land and sea. I'd also like to pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and I extend this acknowledgement to the traditional owners of the land my listeners are on. Welcome to Ritual the Podcast, your cottage in the woods. A sacred space for the witches, the healers, the magical folk to meet and speak of wisdom, witchery, and old world magic, where people come to learn, to hear stories, to share secrets, and to be free to be their true selves. Welcome to Ritual. Hello and welcome back to Ritual. My name is Amy Harvey, and once again, I will be your host on today's podcast. Now, today I am riding solo for a little while. I do have a very special guest coming on a little bit later on, but until then, you're stuck with me. And yeah, I am excited about today's topic because it's actually something that I get asked a lot, and that is about kids and witchcraft and kind of incorporating the two together. How do I do it? Do we do it? How do we encourage it? How do we get the kids involved? I think there's so many questions that parents have about involving their kids with witchcraft. It's a big topic. And to be honest, I think it's completely personal, and everybody is going to have their own ways on how they, incorporate the two together. It also depends, I think, on the age of your kids and when you're going on the journey yourself. I think if it's something that you've always been and your kids have literally grown up with it, then it's something that you wouldn't even second guess. But I think if you're coming into it a bit later on and you maybe have older kids, it's going to be a different journey than mine, because I have two kids who are 4 and 6. So I can only really talk about my experiences with kids of that age, but maybe you'll get something from it. Because I thought I would share about it today, just because we're coming up to Yule soon, and I think Yule is a very family orientated Sabbat, so I thought maybe it would be a good time to talk about this. Okay, so I think it's kind of split up into two. The first thing is whether or not we include our children in our witch practice. And I think the first part is, I think that I still think that people are fearful of judgment and persecution when it comes to saying you're a witch, or that your children are involved with it, or it's something that you believe in, that your family's associated with it. I think that people still have a lot of fear to admit it to people, which is totally fair enough. Like, this is something that is ingrained in our minds from when we were born. Not obviously not as bad as it used to be, where if you're a witch, you were killed because it was illegal, and you worked with the devil and all that. So obviously they had it a lot worse than we do, by a lot. But I think, we always grow up thinking the witch is the evil character, and that people who study that do bad things, or they work with the devil, or it's frowned upon because it's not normal. And even though times are changing, I think growing up, people, I guess maybe not, like, it's not a conscious thing, but we're just kind of, by watching stories and all of that, that's kind of how we're molded to believe. Whereas things like Christianity, religions like that are normal, and if you believe in God, that's a normal thing. So no one even really questions it. But if you follow witchcraft and you believe in Hecate or whatever, that's not normal. So people will be like, I don't get that. And there is still judgment and there is that. But I think people are often hesitant to, I guess, include their kids because of fear that they're going to grow up in school where they're going to receive that judgment of, your mom or your dad's a witch. That's weird. Your family's evil. And you know what? I'm sure it might happen. It might. So this is where I think it comes down to personal choice of whether or not you feel comfortable, I guess, putting your children in that, what's the word, in that situation, even though it might not even happen. I think it really depends on the environment of the school and the kinds of people they hang out with, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I think, yes, first you need to ask yourself, do you feel comfortable in your kids having to deal with that? Like, I know some people who they still practice with their kids, but they tell their kids not to talk about it at school, not to be too open with it, because they know that there will be judgment, because they've gotten to know the parents and they know they're quite close-minded. So it's better to just kind of not, just keep it under wraps. Like, what we do at home is what we do at home, and we don't really talk about it with other people, and that works for them. So I'm all for that. If you feel like that's going to protect your kids from unneeded judgment or bullying or any of that, then totally go for it. Now, my situation is that I think we're very lucky. So we do involve our kids in the things that we do, not everything. Like, I would say majority of it I would usually do by myself, just because their attention span is very small. But we don't hide anything. Like, we have books out on the bookshelves. We have crystals everywhere. We have a pentacle on the wall. We openly talk about things. So we don't shy away from it. And I think at first I was a little bit concerned with Poppy going into school. She's in year 1 now. I was a bit concerned with what the backlash would be, because she's very honest. She doesn't really hold back, which is an amazing quality about Poppy. She's very confident within herself. She's, she just says it how it is. So I knew that she would talk about it. She wouldn't bat an eyelid. She would tell everyone. And I was right, because when I would pick her up from school, I'd have all the kids yelling through the window, "Are you a witch? Poppy said you're a witch." And at first I wasn't quite sure how to answer it, because I'm like, how are they saying it? Are they accusing? Is it like a you evil kind of statement, or is it curiosity? So at first I would kind of just like laugh and like not answer, like give them like a mysterious look and not really answer the question, because I kind of wanted to see how it was going to play out. And then the most amazing thing happened, where Poppy and her friends really embraced it. She would come home from school and I would say, like, what did you do at school today? And she would say, I played, we did this, and then I played with my friends. And I'm like, and what did you play? And she goes, well, we made potions and we did spells, and we were all witches and we did this, we did that. And I was like, oh, did they all want to be witches? And she goes, yeah, we're all witches. And so then I realized that they weren't saying things to me in a fearful way. They were actually really interested in it. And so pretty much every day, even to this day, they all her friends come together and they say they're all witches. And now they've evolved where they are really interested in goddesses, and they've all got their own goddess. Like, one day Poppy came home and she was like, my goddess is Hecate, and my friend wanted one who works with animals, and my other friend, we're all green witches, and she wanted one that works with trees. And so they're totally embracing it. And I've spoken to some of their parents and they're all for it as well. So we're very lucky in that we just happen to have a group of parents who are, I mean, up in the hills. I would kind of have expected this anyway, but everyone is very open-minded. There's absolutely no judgment. Like, they all know what I do. They all know my business. No one even bats an eyelid. So we feel very comfortable in, I guess, just encouraging that. And we've even had some of Poppy's friends come over, like on the school holidays when we were, they came over to play. And I set up things where they could make potions together, and they all made their own like charm bags, and they were all for it. So that was really cool. It was really cool to like see that acceptance. And I think one thing that we need to remember is that kids are now very open to things. Like the next generations, they have been exposed to so much, and I think we forget how open-minded they actually are. And one thing I will say, and I'm a massive fan of Harry Potter, I know there's a lot of controversy in the things that she has said, and I'm not talking about that part, but Harry, I mean, I grew up with Harry Potter. We were the same ages when the books came out. Like like Harry Potter was like my whole life, and I'm still completely obsessed. But one thing I will say is that one of the amazing things that Harry Potter has given to the world is that it made witches and wizards the good guys. It made them normal. It made them just like us. They went to school, they learned things, they had friends. They had good guys and they had bad guys. Just like in any religion, there's extremes on both ends. And I really think it normalized witchcraft. So kids these days don't see witches as baddies. They see them as Harry Potter and Hermione, who work hard, they learn things, they fight evil, they do the right thing, they care for each other. And so I think we need to remember that kids, I think they're more willing to embrace it than we think, and also than maybe what we were like when we were growing up. And I do definitely thank things like Harry Potter for that. And it was funny because Poppy, for her birthday this year, she wanted a Harry Potter birthday, which I was all about, because, like, let's be honest, that's my dream birthday party too. And so we found this amazing place that they totally embraced the Harry Potter theme. Like, they had a potions room that was done up like potions in Harry Potter. They all had a desk, they all had a cauldron, they had a herbology room where they all had lunch and they ate cake in there, and the room was like lined in bottles and plants and all this crazy stuff. And they had a professor who, she was amazing because she was like very strict, very Snape-like. And the kids loved her because she was so rude and sassy. And like, they'd get sorted into houses, and if one was in Hufflepuff, she goes, "Oh, well, you're a bit silly, aren't you?" And they thought it was amazing. Like, it was just the funniest thing to watch because they loved it. And like, it was just like funny to see as well. The parents were so into it. They were all so keen. And these kids were literally making potions, learning about plants, like totally diving into a witchcraft world, but they were all for it. So I thought that was just like a really funny thing to witness, how different time is now compared to what it used to be. You know, you used to go as a witch to a Halloween party because they were scary, when now it's like Harry Potter birthdays where everyone's a witch getting involved. So times have definitely changed for the better. So I think, to summarize that, if you feel comfortable that your kids will have an experience where they won't be judged and they'll be embraced, and, you know, you feel confident and comfortable, then I don't think you should hold back. You know, I think you should just let them say and do what they want to do and see how it plays out. But that's just me. Again, it really is about what your experience is, what your school is like, the people that are there. Everyone is different. So next is, how do we involve our kids? So like I said before, I don't involve them in everything. Like a lot of it, I don't even do with Patty. I just do by myself, because I feel like witchcraft is a very personal thing. So I won't involve them in spell work or ritual work. That's pretty much just left to me. But these are the things that we do involve them with. So our first rule has always been, we don't force our beliefs on them. We kind of let them come to us. Like I went to an Anglican school, but my parents never made me believe in anything. I was always left to kind of make my own mind up about what I did and didn't believe, which I really appreciated. And so we have a very similar thought with our kids now. Like if they wanted to practice something completely different, I honestly don't care. As long as they're not hurting anybody, I don't care. So I've never forced them to do what we do. I just kind of let them come to us, and they did very quickly, especially Poppy. She is such a witch. So she was onto it straight away. Noah, I think he's kind of like, yeah, cool. Like he doesn't really think twice about it. It's just whatever to him. But I think he's interested, but Poppy's the one who's super, super keen. So yes, we just kind of let them come at their own pace. But one thing that we always do as a family, and I think is a really good starting place if you want to involve your kids, is by using the Sabbats and the seasons. That is one of our biggest family witch activities, I guess, because there are so many ways to involve them in it. A lot of them aren't even like super witchy, but they're really fun for kids to get involved in. So for example, we'll always explain like what the Sabbat is or the season, what's happening in nature around us, and they can like look out the window and they can see that for themselves. So I think that alone is exciting for them, because it's like a visual thing. They can see, if we're going into Mabon, they can see the leaves are turning brown, and all the different flowers that have come out and how the world has changed around them. I think they really love to kind of dive into that visual sense. And another thing is cooking. Cooking is a big part of our Sabbat celebrations, and we will always have different activities or like cooking activities that we all do together. And it's nice because because we've been doing it for a few years now, it's kind of become like a fun tradition. So for example, a good one is Imbolc. When we go into Imbolc, we always make our own butter from scratch, which is so fun. Like it's just so much like, it's just so fun because it really like connects you back to how things used to be done. I mean, obviously they didn't use a KitchenAid back in the day. They churned butter a little bit differently. So look, I'll be honest, I'll probably take ours because it's much quicker than how they used to churn butter. But we make our own butter. And from the butter, you also get buttermilk. So we take, like obviously you have the butter, we then get the buttermilk, and out of that we make soda bread. And then we also make, the next morning we'll make buttermilk pancakes. And so they're all for it because, the butter you can put on the bread. Who doesn't love bread? Then we get to make pancakes, and it's this whole activity, and they love like being able to make things that they've made themselves, like use the butter that they made themselves, put the milk in the pancakes, and because they did that. So they get really excited because they were a part of that experience. And then what else? Like on Astara, we make hot cross buns, and they do that from scratch. And again, they're so proud of it. And, as you're doing it, you can explain like why you're using certain ingredients, why you're making certain things, and how that's associated with that Sabbat. So you're kind of like sprinkling in a little bit of like witchy education for them, but they might take it on board, they might not. But, you know, it's just nice to like have that conversation come up that way. And then we always play music. That's another big thing with the Sabbat is we're very into music. And, you know, we get a lot of like pagan, witchy music to do with that season and Sabbath. So that kind of like sets the mood and the kids love it. Like, especially, I think there's ones like at Beltane, there's lots of like drums and it can get a little bit hectic. So they're always running around crazy, pretending to be crazy witches, but they love it. So I think music is a really cool thing to incorporate into the day, even just to have it in the background. It kind of like brings that magic into the home in a very like subtle way. And then we always have our feast. You know, usually it will be dinner, but we always do that together. So that can incorporate some of the things that we've made throughout the day, or it's just using the food that is in that season. So for example, we would do like for Beltane and Letha, the summer solstice, there's lots of like fresh fruit, berries, like fresh salad, and just all the things that you would buy in abundance around you. And it always tastes amazing. And the kids can like put it all together. And usually we'll make like a big platter of food. So you can like pick and choose whatever you want. And it's so much fun. And then for Yule, it's the complete opposite. So it's all like carbs. So it's like we'll have like a roast or a chicken pie or something that's like super warming and yummy, and or like when we do pumpkin soup, which the kids love. So it's just like finding those meals that really capture that Sabbath, and then they get it and they're really excited for it as well, because you like talk it up throughout the day and the house smells amazing. And so doing things like that, it's just fun. It kind of just makes a celebration just by getting everybody together and enjoying food. Like food has so much magic in that it really brings people together. And then what else? So then you can incorporate just little things as well throughout the day. So for example, for Beltane and Letha again, there's very much that fairy association. So we will do things like the kids will go and make a fairy garden outside, and they spend ages doing it. They go and find flowers or crystals, or we have like little fairy statues, and they make up a little village, and then they make an offering, which they're so keen for. So we give them like a little dish each, and they put honey in it, and they put little crystal chips or whatever. Sometimes they write letters to the fairies, and they put it all together themselves, and they go out and you can hear them like whispering to the fairies, like, this is for you, I made this, I really want to see you. And like it's so cute to see. So I think giving them jobs like that, you just see them light up because they're involved and they're so part of the magic, and kids love that. They love being a part of something magical. So if you can set something up like that for them, they'll shine, they'll love it. They also, Poppy's very into, because we're coming up to Yule, she always remembers that Yule is like Christmas, and Christmas means presents. So I have no doubt in my mind that all conversation will come up soon going, so are we getting a Yule present soon? I don't know if that's a good lesson to teach, but yeah, that's definitely something they're keen to explore. And usually I will do something like a witchy present. Like I think they got a witchy book last year. I can't remember. But yeah, it is a fun thing to do if you're keen to do something like that. So Sabbats they're a really easy place to start to get kids involved in your witchy practice. Another one is the moon. The moon, again, it's out every day. It's always there. It's something visual that they can see. And I think following the lunar cycle is a really cool way to kind of keep up the routine of incorporating that magic in their lives every day if you really want to follow it. But it gives you little places, like placements to do certain things. Like, for example, on the full moon, we will do cards together. And Poppy loves this. Anytime you say it's a full moon, she goes, "Can we do cards?" So I'll let her pick out like an oracle deck, and she knows how to like fan them all out and how to like intuitively pick the one that is calling to her. And so we do that together, and she loves it. That's like what we do. Instead of a bedtime story, we'll do cards. So the full moon has that practice. And then on a new moon, you can make a wish, because it's all about, new beginnings, new, manifesting. So they know that when the new moon is here, they can make a wish. And usually it involves some kind of like LOL toy or something, but whatever, that's their wish. And so that's what we've told them to do. So even though it's just 2 phases, you can incorporate the dark if you want to, you can do the waning or whatever. But I think the moon is just a really beautiful place as well to begin, because it's there. It's a physical thing. They can look out the window every night and learn like where it is, what phase it's in, what that phase means. That's something that you can do together. Another one is crystals. Yes, crystals, the addiction. You can start it young. But I think crystals are really fun. Like, I remember as a kid loving crystals. And obviously, to me, then they weren't magical. They were just like fun to play with. But kids are so drawn to crystals. I remember any market I've ever done, I would have kids all day looking at the bowl of crystals I had there. There was like a moth to the flame. They love them. They're drawn to them. And remember that kids pick up on so much because they are so open. So things like that have that high energy, they're onto it straight away. So crystals are a fun one. So we started just by picking a couple, and I would teach them what they mean. So they know, like, I think it was like rose quartz, amethyst, citrine, and black tourmaline were the first ones. And they know that like amethyst is good to get rid of bad dreams. Rose quartz is good for your heart. Citrine is good to make wishes, and black tourmaline gets rid of all the bad vibes. And that's where they began. And then we have also brought them to crystal shops before, which is like heaven to a kid. Their eyes nearly fell out of their head because they were like, where do I even begin? And so they got to pick out a crystal, and there's some really cool crystal places around. Like, I know there's one where they have like dinosaurs and just huge things in the like backyard area, and you just look it up. There'll be a million crystal places around like that. But they love it, and it's just funny to see like which ones they're drawn to. And then it's like a good project, because you can say like, pick out 1, 2, 3, and then let's go home and research like what their properties are and why you think you were drawn to that. And then one thing that we've done is we made like a little crystal kit as well. So I would put out a whole bunch of different crystals, and they had to pick 3. Like, they had to use their intuition, and they had to pick 3 and make their own crystal kits. And then they would learn like what the properties were for each one after and why they would use it. And then they'd have like a special bag, and it was just like really special to them, because it was something that they picked themselves. They learned about it, and they can use it however they want to use it. I mean, we do have so many crystals lying around the house now, because why put things away when you can scatter them on the floor, is my kids' theory. But anyway, they do enjoy doing that. So crystals is another place, a really good place to involve kids. And another one is books. There are so many beautiful books out there that explain witchcraft in a beautiful, childlike way. And so I have a couple here that we love. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see the front cover when I hold it up, but I will explain them anyway. But these are just some of the ones that we incorporate. They're all picture books, and they just kind of dive into different aspects of witchcraft and explain it in a story so kids can understand it. It's not like a like one of our witchy books that are chapters and chapters and chapters of information, because a kid will be like, this is the most boring thing I've ever heard in my life. But explaining things in a story, it just gets them on their level, and it really, it kind of plants a seed and they can think about it in their own way. So one of the ones I love, it's called The Little Coven, by Penny Harrison. And that's what it looks like if you're watching it. But basically it's about these 3 girls who are little girls. They have made their own coven. They're all friends and they meet up and they do magic together. And they all have their own powers. So let me have a look. So they're in a forest and it talks about nature and where all the trees grow and the mushrooms grow. And so it's got Eve, who loves adventure, races broomsticks. She can summon up the sunshine when her friends are feeling down. Florence has a healing touch. She soothes with homemade balms. She knows every herb and flower and protects her friends with charms. Oh, it's so cute. And Sabine, with wise and mystic ways, can sense when all's not well. She charts the stars for silvery paths of fortunes yet to tell. And so basically it just like talks about how they do magic together and different elements of magic that you can choose, and they grow older and they still have their coven, but they support each other in their own ways. And it's just a really beautiful book. So I highly recommend that. I think I actually got it from Kmart, but you can get it from any bookstore. If you want to support small businesses, definitely go there first, but I highly recommend The Little Coven. And then there's a place I found on Instagram. It's called Moon Dust Press. Moon Dust Press. They are I guess a book publisher, maybe over in the US, but they make picture books for kids that are all to do with witchcraft. So I have 2 of them. One of them's called Brina. Let me get that, Brina here. And it's a really beautiful book. It's about a girl who is trying to find what path of witchcraft she connects with. So is she a green witch? She a sea witch? Is she a lunar witch? And she goes over all the different paths and what they do, and do they fit her, and what, where does she belong? So I think that's a really good one to help explain what witchcraft is and the different paths that you can choose, and about finding what you feel most connected with, especially in regards to the nature element. Like if, you really love being at the beach, maybe you love doing sea witchery. Do you love being outside working with flowers? Maybe you like green witchery. So it kind of explains that in a really beautiful way. And then there's one called Sunday the Sea Witch. Pretty self-explanatory what this one's about. But basically the story is Sunday lives at the ocean, and she's a sea witch, and she's a little girl as well. And she has this beautiful connection with the ocean and works all this amazing magic, but then her family move away, and they don't live near the ocean anymore. And she feels really lost, like she has lost a part of herself. But then she realizes that she can still connect with the magic of the water by going to a river that she finds nearby, or by going in the bath, or by just, going in the rain, and how that magic can be found anywhere, not just in one place, and a lot of it lives inside you. So it has a really beautiful message. So I really like that one. I think it's so beautiful. So yeah, they're just some of the ones. I know there's one, I think I have one still in the Wiccan Sage store called We Witches, and it's a very educational one because it goes through the alphabet, but each letter has to do with something to do with witchcraft. So it's like, I think C is coven. I don't remember the rest. I probably should have got an example, but that's a good one if you're wanting to incorporate a little bit of education as well as a bit of witchcraft. It's called We Witches. But yeah, if you want to find books like that, I think they are really good to explain to kids what it is you practice in a really cool, fun way for them to understand. And then, of course, you have things like Harry Potter for the older kids, or for yourself. I still read Harry Potter, but that, again, it takes away that fear from witches, and gives them a bit more power and fun and, all the different elements. And there's also actually a lot of books out there now about elementals. Like we have one that's all about mermaids, but it's not a story. It's like, it talks about like mermaids are found here. This is what they look like. This is the power that they have. So I think it's just amazing, like what you can find to cater to what your child had, like their interests in witchcraft. It's just amazing. The times we are in now are amazing. So they're the books. And then I think it's just like lessons, like general lessons that I think every human should practice, but they do align with witchcraft and the morals that go with that. So we always talk about gratitude. You should always show gratitude for everything, even the little things, which is a big lesson we're talking about with our kids at the moment, is gratitude. And it's actually gotten to the point where at dinner time, Poppy or Noah will go, let's go around and everyone has to say 3 things that they are grateful for about today. And they'll do that without any prompt. They just know that it's nice to do something like that. So we're big on gratitude. We're big on teaching about karma and how you shouldn't harm people, because what goes around comes around, but if you do something good, then that good energy will come back to you as well. So it's always important to control the energy that you put out. Big on respecting nature because you need to, and we need to look after the planet, and how you should always, before you go and rip leaves or flowers off things, you should always ask permission. Just little things like that. And then things like manifesting, like positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. So if they're having a day where they're just having, they're being negative Nancy's and huffing and puffing, you can say, well, you can put that out into the world, but it means that your day might just end up, the same or worse. Or you can say, no, today is going to be a good day and good things are going to happen, and you will be attracting more good things into your life because you changed your mindset. So I think just finding a few little lessons like that kind of align with witchcraft and the intentions that kind of has is a nice thing to do with them as well. But they're probably the main ways that we incorporate witchcraft with our kids and how we include them into it. I'm sure that's going to evolve over time. Like I know Poppy will want to get more involved. And I think when she's bigger, I'd probably bring her to full moon circles or, Sabbat circles or something like that. I think she would probably really enjoy that. Maybe, and Noah, if Noah wants to do it as well, he can definitely do it. But I think the more they grow and evolve, we'll probably let them guide us with what they want to learn about and get involved with. But it's really up to them. Ball's in their court. We're just here to facilitate whatever it is they want. Now, that's probably the main thing. So I do have a very special guest today, someone that is very keen to come on and have a chat. And I thought, considering what we were talking about, which is involving kids in witchcraft, then who better to talk to than this person? Because really only they can answer these questions. We can't do it because we're too old. So the guest I have today is Poppy. She is my daughter. She's 6 years old, and she is very excited to be a guest. So I'm going to be asking her a couple of questions about what she thinks a witch is and what witchcraft is and what she likes to do and all of that. So I hope you enjoy. She has a lot to say. It's going to be a good one. So I hope you guys get a lot out of it. And here we go with Miss Poppy May. So I have a very special guest with me today. I have got my 6-year-old daughter, Poppy. She is joining me. You want to say hello?
Hi.
And I thought, what better person to interview about kids and witchcraft than the very own Poppy May Harvey. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions and you just tell me what you think. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So can you tell everyone your name and how old you are?
I'm Poppy and I'm 6. Wait, she already answered.
I did already say that. You're right. Now, Poppy, how do you like to start your day? Do you have a routine that you like to do?
I like sitting on a couch, and then I like screaming at my parents.
You do like to scream a lot, yes.
And
what do you like to have for breakfast every day?
Rice Krispies.
Yes, you do. And you're a slow starter, aren't you? You're a bit sleepy when you wake up in the morning.
I always feel like staying on the couch, and I'm always screaming at people to say, "No, I'm trying to sleep."
That's right. You're a bit sleepy. But do you have is there anything you like to do? You do more gratitude at the end of the day, don't you?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about that later. So how do you feel about Mummy being a witch?
I feel good. So that means like we get to do fun potions and yeah.
But you like it? You didn't think it was weird when I first told you?
No, I felt like it was going to be fun. So we can like look at cool like things like making candles and herbs and yeah.
That's good. That's really nice. And when I say a witch, what do you think a witch is? Like, how would you describe a witch?
Well, I describe a witch like, I don't know how to describe a witch.
It's hard?
Because I don't know what to describe.
Well, what things do you think of when you think of a witch?
I think like baking potions and doing some spells with wands, but we don't really use wands. We just like get herbs and make a little spell.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird for me, but I like it.
And what kind of witch do you think that you are? What do you tell me that you are?
I feel like a green witch.
A green witch. Why do you think you're a green witch?
I like nature too bad.
You like nature?
If I ever leave the forest, I'm going to cry. I don't want to leave the forest. It's so nice.
Yeah. And you're always outside playing with flowers and herbs, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm always making experiments with jellies and mushing strawberries and making something with leaves and flowers.
You are. That's very true.
And dirt and flowers.
And what's your favorite witchy thing that we do together?
Like make those bags, what we made when my friends were here.
Oh, the charm bags. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
Poppy and Olivia.
Yeah. What were they for? They were for good luck?
Yeah, they were for wishing.
For making a wish. That's right.
But they never came true.
Not yet. Sometimes they take a while. Do you remember what you wished for?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you.
Don't say. Yeah, sometimes they take a while and they happen in different ways that you might think. So you have to be patient. And would you like, whenever it's a Sabbat and we or like one of those witchy holidays?
What's Sabbat?
So, when we have the witchy holidays, and so sometimes we make lots of food together.
Yeah, like soul cakes.
Yeah, like soul cakes. We did that for Samhain, didn't we?
Yeah, kind of like soul cakes, just not that much. I don't eat a lot of soul cakes though.
No.
But I love them.
What did we do? What about when it was a star, we made hot cross buns? You liked those ones. And remember we made butter at Imbolc?
Oh yeah, butter. Well, a bit crazy.
It was a bit crazy, wasn't it?
Mhm.
I remember what we made.
You know, listen to Spidey.
Remember what we made out of the buttermilk?
Yeah.
Do you remember what we had for breakfast the next morning?
No.
Pancakes.
Oh yeah.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Mm.
And do you know the next one coming up is Yule? Let's see if you can remember that one. Yule is like Christmas.
And you like get a present, but
That's right.
but sometimes you give people presents, but you don't get one. Or sometimes people give you presents and they don't get one.
It's
a
all
bit,
about giving,
Yeah.
isn't it? So that's coming up in a few weeks.
What?
Yeah, it is. That's going to be fun,
Yay.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be really good. So what do you think about people who think that witches are weird or evil?
Most people feel like that, but I hide it. Sometimes I hide it so I don't get so people don't notice. Like my friends, they think witches are real, but I just hide it so they
You don't tell
know.
people?
No, because I want to keep it secret because when they see somebody who's a witch, they don't really want to save them, and they're my friends, and they don't really want to.
But you do witchy things with your friends at school.
Only like a couple friends, but not every single friend. I want to keep it a bit secret.
So do you just like suss out who you think will be accepting of it and you talk to them about it?
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of friends who like Poppy and Millie.
Yeah, and like Alessandra.
Yeah, you've got
Charlotte,
some who are really like into it and you can talk to them about it. Like you were talking about all your goddesses that you have.
With Poppy Millie.
Yeah. Who was yours?
Mine was
do you remember?
No.
Hecate,
yes.
That's right. You like her, don't you?
Yeah, she's my favorite because I have a key, but I don't know where the necklace is at all.
I'm sure it's around somewhere.
I actually don't know.
And what was the reaction of people at school when you told them that Mummy was a witch or that you were a witch?
They're like, what? That is so cool. But some people are like, that is so bad. I'm never going to talk to you. That's what some people like.
Some people have said that. Do you think that they just don't understand, or do you think that they just think they've heard stories where witches are baddies? I
think both.
Both?
I don't believe.
And so that's when you could find out who were the ones that you could talk to about it and who were the ones you were just going to be quiet. But is there a story that you know where witches aren't evil? They're actually really good.
Yeah, like Room Alone.
Room on a Broom.
What? I said Room Alone.
That's right, Room on a Broom. She's a good witch, isn't she?
Yeah, but it kind of gives me a freak.
Because you get scared of the dragon, don't you?
At a play what I did with it, I got like, oh, let me go back.
Yeah, Poppy saw a Room on a Broom in a play.
Yeah, and it was a bit
spooky
because the dragon was like so realistic and the people so realistic. You would have seen it and you would have.
Oh my gosh! But there's something else. There's another movie as well that you like where
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus, the witches are a little bit naughty in that one. They're a bit cheeky. But there's another movie that you're really into.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. You had a Harry Potter birthday party, didn't you?
I loved it so bad.
It was good, wasn't it?
If Harry Potter ever goes off the TV, I'm gonna die for it. I want it to say it's the best movie. It's popular for me, but it's not for anybody else.
I think it's popular for a couple of people.
But if it's popular for a couple of people, it's not popular. I don't know. But it's popular for me.
So what would you say to other kids who wanted to get into witchcraft, who wanted to be a witch?
Poppy Millie, I just magicked them away.
What would you say? How would you tell them they should start? Like, what are some things they can do to start? Well,
I tell them to start like, okay, if you want to be a witch, start like hiding it. If you don't really want, if people who are scared of witches, just hide it. But if people what you trust, like me, you can. Okay? And I tell them, so I teach people like to be like, first I give them a walk and maybe just scratch a little when I train them. So like scratch a bit of paper.
Is it like a magical rock?
Yeah, I make them a witch and I say keep it, and if you want to do any of those marks again, you can, because they're training.
So you'd make like magical symbols.
Yeah.
Do you know what they're called? They're called sigils. That's pretty cool that you know how to do that. And what other things can people do to get into witchcraft that you like to do?
I don't know, but I have a crystal.
You do have a crystal. They're everywhere in this house, aren't they? Well, that's one thing, is you could work with crystals.
Yeah, now I've got a whole bunch.
And what about there's one thing that you like and you're really interested in that comes out in the sky?
I'm interested of like weather.
Oh, the weather?
Yeah, I'm interested like of today. What is today called?
Today?
Yeah, what's the date?
The 31st of May?
Yeah, the 31st of May. I was interested of the weather. It was like super stormy at the start of the day. Then at the end, it got calmer. And I was like, that's a bit weird. Because it told us all day will be crazy, but it wasn't that crazy in the afternoon. So I got a bit...
So you were trying to read the weather today?
Yeah.
And what about, there's something in the sky. Can we just put them down a little bit? There's something in the sky that we look at sometimes, and sometimes it's really big and sometimes it's really small.
The moon.
The moon, that's right. So you can follow the moon.
And we can also see star signs in the sky.
That's right.
At night.
And what star sign are you, Poppy?
Pisces.
You're a Pisces. So what animal does that make you?
A fish.
You're a fish.
And she tries to eat me because she's a Leo.
Yes.
Maybe she ate me and then I came to her baby. Maybe he ate Noah and then he came to your baby. Maybe.
So what do we do at a full moon? We've done that a couple of times.
Cards.
Do cards. That's right. So people, other kids could follow the moon. That's a good place to start. Now, Poppy, what's one thing that you like to do at the end of the day?
I like to hug you.
You do like to hug me, but what's something that you like to do at dinner time as well? What do you like to talk about? We go around a circle.
And we talk about what we're grateful for.
What we're grateful for.
But we didn't do it today.
We didn't. Maybe we should do it after we finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have got some questions that I ask everybody. Don't be scared. They're not scary, but you just tell me the first thing that pops into your head. Okay. So what is your favorite movie?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Or Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh is a good movie.
Yeah. She is obsessed with it.
I do love Winnie the Pooh. What is your favorite book?
What is it called again? That big book with all like those people, what, like the Big Bad Wolf, Mrs.
The Big Bad Wolf.
Like all those people, like the pixie thing, and
I don't know what that one is.
Well, it could be Charlie.
Oh, Charlie Cook's.
Yeah.
What is it? Charlie Cook's favorite book.
Yeah, Charlie Cook's
That's a good one.
Book. And also the big Harry Potter book.
Yeah, the Harry Potter book.
And the Winnie the Pooh book. Those are all my books.
Nice.
I can't have a favorite out of those people. I don't know.
You like all of them. You can like more than one.
I like a lot. I like a lot.
That's okay.
I said I don't really like a lot, but I like a lot. That's what I just said. I don't really like a lot, but I like a lot.
Now, do you have an animal that you have a special connection with?
Any sea animal.
Any sea animal?
Well, not really sea animals, only fishes, because I am a fish.
Because you're a fish.
I'm really connected to cats. Every time I see a cat, I can't control myself to pet it. I'm like, but if it runs wet, I'm like, nah.
So we have a cat called Sage, and Sage
loves me.
She is obsessed with Poppy.
But she's not obsessed with her.
She's not.
She bites her, like she goes like that.
She does. I feed her, I give her everything, and she attacks me all the time. But Poppy flings her around like a toy, and Sage just follows Poppy like she's God. Isn't she? She loves you. She sleeps with you every night. That's
why. That's my trick. She likes me because she likes me exercise. She likes to go, Mama, how to do that.
That's true. Okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? France. Why?
I don't know, because my dad has a French accent and there's a lot of cheese.
He doesn't have a French accent.
Like,
he's Irish.
Oh, But his parents went there.
No, they're Irish too. We went to France, so didn't we?
Yeah, I just love that country.
Yeah, you
so
liked
much.
eating all the cheese and the croissants.
So I wish I could go there right now.
Go to
Or
France.
Disneyland right now.
Yeah.
Because it would be fireworks and everybody in Disneyland step away, and it'll be the best right now
It would
at
be.
Disneyland.
Mhm.
Well, it could be. It's actually going to be morning at Disneyland right now.
Right now it would be, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I would still love it because I get to see Mickey and I have Mickey pancakes. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good to me. All right, last question.
No more.
Well, maybe you'll come back another time. We'll do more questions.
Okay.
But last question is, what makes you happy?
Hugging you.
Oh, thank you, Poppy. Isn't she so cute? Thank you. Was that fun?
Yes, and I've also got a Milo phone. Ring,
Oh
ring.
my
Hello.
gosh, this
yes.
is where we end the interview because she starts going crazy.
Hello. Yes, I know.
But
Give me 5 million pieces. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for being here, Poppy.
Yeah.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Yes. Stay.
Bye.
No. You stay till the end.
Mm.
So if you want to connect with me more, you know all the places. One is Instagram. Poppy, do you want to say my Instagram place? What's it called?
Witch and Sage.
Wick and Sage.
I call it Witch and Sage. Witch and Sage.
Wick and Sage.
Oh, I thought it's Witch.
Witch and Sage is also cool, but I'm at Wick and Sage. Or you can watch us right now on YouTube, and that's at Rosethorn Cottage, and you can see this little cutie. Or if you want, you can also jump over to Patreon and hang out with us there. We're going to have our own little Yule party soon, which will be really fun. And who knows, Poppy might even make an appearance on that one. Say hello to everybody.
What's appearance?
It means go on and say hello.
Oh.
Like you appear.
I go, like, if I just pretend I wasn't here, I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, hello, hi, bye.
That's exactly right. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and my beautiful guest. And I will see you on the next one. Bye. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye.